Headed to Indianapolis International Airport right now to pick up Sage. He rented a car one way down from Michigan yesterday and he's going to be dropping it back off at the airport. So we're going to head over there and pick him up. From there, we're going to head to the shop, go get the bus. Our goal is right around sunrise to be ready to go. We want to try to put as many miles in as we can today in the sun. Hopefully make it there before the sun goes down, but don't fully know that that's going to be the case. I mean, it's 6.5 hour drive, I think, in a modern vehicle normally up there, so hopefully we'll make it, pretty close to all day in the sun, but we're gonna try to get it in, get it back up there today. Hopefully we don't run into any issues or anything. It should be a nice, boring drive to northern Michigan. And I think while I'm up there, I'm gonna be looking at the Texas bus, going over a list of things he wants done with that, and sometime in the next couple months I'll probably be heading back up there and giving my hand on a couple of those projects. But today, just the goal is gonna be get Silver Ghost up there, and we'll join you guys back in here in a minute once we get him picked up. So sun's just starting to come up. We're here. Bus is nice and frosty, so we're gonna have to do a cold start here. Sage is getting his tripod set up, so you guys are gonna have to go watch that on his channel. I'll make sure I put a link down in the description for you. But it's gonna be a nice, fun drive. He said he's not looking forward to the wind tunnel through there. Cold. I mean, at least it's getting up to like 50 something today.
Yeah, eventually.
I thought the heat in my truck sucked, but it's minorly better than that.
No, I've got my big. You'll see. I'm going to be dressed with my winter gloves and my winter hat, and it's just not going to be fun. I remember the drive from here, from Ohio.
Yeah.
And it was pretty mild, and I was still, because I'm not moving around.
Yeah.
If you're moving around and it's cold, you can be out for hours. If you're sitting still for hours.
Well, I spent like 4 hours working on my truck yesterday, and I didn't realize the high was only 45 yesterday, but I was moving the entire time.
That's the trick. When you're sitting driving this thing, you're not moving.
And wind chill.
Yeah. All right, well, let's see if we can get this baby fired up.
Made it to our first fuel stop here. We're probably about a half hour, 45 minutes into the drive right now. Just shot the hub and brake temps on the bus. It's looking good. It's driving pretty good. It's got a little bit of a pull to the right, but nothing too bad. It's actually riding really soft, he said, for the new springs. He thought it was going to be a lot harsher. So as soon as we get up there, we're going to fuel that thing up. I already got the flatbed filled up. It's good. I'm not going to worry about that right now. But we'll get the tanks topped off on the bus and we'll just keep making time north. good on temperature. Hubs are looking great on temperature. I went through and adjusted all the brakes again. Needed a little bit of an adjustment, but it wasn't terrible. But we're just going to keep going. And if he starts to notice anything up there acting up with the brakes more or anything like that, then we'll go from there and see about what we're going to have to do on it. We have new brake chambers in the bus if I have to change one. I have all the tools with me to do it. But if we can get it up there right now as is, we're going to try to just get it up there right now. We're just going to have to keep an eye on it as we go. Going down the road, we really don't have a lot, but if you let it sit and idle for a little bit, like when I did the brake adjustments, we left it running. It smoked a little bit when we took off again, but I mean, it's driven 300 miles to the shop, and this is the longest trip it's been on then since he's owned it. So we'll mess with some more of that stuff later, but right now, I mean, it's working and we're getting closer and closer. I'm not sure exactly what Sage's plans are for how far he wants to go before we stop again. I don't know how it's doing on fuel. It's drawing out of the big tank, so we should be good, but I'm guessing we're going to stop probably once and fill it up just to be sure. But no real complaints. It's working. Michigan now. No real issues to report on the bus. When we stopped for lunch, we filled it up with fuel, checked the fluids on it. It did need a little bit of oil. We were getting some leakage from the valve cover. Tightened the valve cover back down. Looks like a couple of those, it doesn't use the bolts, it's got the big hand screws. Looks like a couple of those kind of backed themselves off a little bit, but not a big deal. Tighten them back up, and we're going to continue going. So we're well over halfway into the trip. We got about 3 hours, 3.5 hours, depending on how the bus wants to go until we get there. So hoping we make it by sunset. You know it's not good when the toolbox is out, but we had a brake chamber let go on this thing. So rear brake hung up and the brake chamber actually got stuck applied and would not release. So we have it. We have the tools to do it. We're going to go ahead and swap it. How long do you think it's going to be?
You said an hour.
I know, I was being kind of generous. I think maybe if I really work at it, we can have it on there in 20 minutes.
20 minutes?
I hope so. Sun's starting to go down.
Between 20 minutes and an hour. Okay, I'm going to start the timer.
All right.
So
slack adjuster off here. Hopefully have this off in just a sec. Let's start matching it up. I think looking at the air fittings on here, we're going to have to run to like Lowe's or somewhere. Get a couple air fittings we need to make this work. But it's not actually that bad to get off. It's got brakes again. Didn't get much recorded though. We are losing daylight and we really want to be on the road right now. We don't want to sit and waste time doing stuff like that. So we're gonna get going. Well, things escalated quickly. We still have no brakes to speak of. It's not even going to be safe to get it out of this parking lot, and we can't just leave it sitting out here right now. So unfortunately, this one's going to have to get dragged somewhere where it's a little bit safer. So we're going to have to rethink our game plan a little bit here, but for right now we're going to get it moved so it's at least in a safe spot to leave it, and then regroup.